Yep, you read that right. Mako, Satsuki, Ryuko, all are getting true weapons, and the event is coming back on the Japanese version of the game. Not like it was just here, you know, about a month ago on global, and it made the game so fucking stale. Well, at least we're getting new equips this time, so that makes it a little bit better. And of course, if you want to know what the buffs are, at least regarding the units, it's pretty much exactly what we got on global. There's not really anything different. You know, the duration buffs, you know, stuff like that. Apart from that, there's nothing that really changed with the units, but we're going to be talking about the true weapons, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about Grand Summoners as a whole towards the end of this, and why I've kind of fallen out of favor with the game over the last few months, and why I prefer actually making content that's not really directly in the game. It's more so out of it. Like you guys saw it recently with the most recent collaboration video we did. If you haven't watched that, highly recommend you guys go watch that. And with other videos I did, like with the Naofumi stuff and all that. And those are really fun to make, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. So, JP's getting 4 new equips, which is going to be Scissors Blade, Decapitation mode. The other one's going to be Bakuzan, Goku and Bakuzan and Koru. And then the last picture, we're going to be getting the Starla's student uniform and motorcycle. For the true weapons that revolve around each of the characters, it's not anything too crazy, but I'll say this. There's a new raid event, and I think this works similar to how ReZero did it, where you need to, you know, get their true weapon, so get a Goku uniform, and then you can go through the raid to make it into the true Goku uniform. Well, at first, I thought that's how it worked, but as I investigate a little bit more, by a little bit more, I mean I literally just scrolled down the page, I saw where you could buy the rainbow gems for 20 rainbow gems. So I guess it's not like ReZero, which is very unfortunate. And with this being like this, I guess this also leads me to believe that the raid is not actually a Kill la Kill themed raid. It's probably just a new raid boss, which is okay as well. So with Mako, her true Goku uniform is pretty much exactly what it is by default. So as you see here, true Goku uniform increases all allies arc gauge by 15. Increase all allies arc gauge by 15 for 15 seconds. Increase all allies damage by 20%. When equipped by Mako, the equip skill, art gauge, and increased damage potency increases by 2. So it goes up to 30 and 4. So what happens to the other Goku uniform? Because this is technically a nerfed version of Goku uniform. Huh. And it increases defense by 5%. Okay. But that's, it's kind of weird. Also, shout out to the official. They did all the translations for this. Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about that. Yeah, base Goku uniform is 30 arc gauge up and then 20% damage to all allies. So if it was ×2 for that being equipped to Mako, it would have been 60 arc gauge up and 40 damage. So I guess that's why they did it, just so it could be on the same level. But then there's no reason to use the true weapon on Mako. Yeah, I already don't like this. Next is going to be Satsuki, which I'm hoping they give her something with this true weapon. So her true weapon, which of course would be true Bakuzan. When equipped by Satsuki, you increase break power by 50%. Does not stack with passes of the same name. So they just took the skill of Bakuzan, which Bakuzan's skill is, I think, increased break power by 50%. I gotta go check this one too, god damn it. Actually, no, Bakuzan is increased break power by 75%. And they just gave her the constant passive. I'm a little bit more inclined to this one than the Mako one personally, just because more break power for Satsuki is never a bad thing, because she is a breaker, and just having that on constantly is pretty nice. And then last but not least is Ryuko's true weapon, and this one I think is actually more of an legitimate true weapon out of all of them, because it's actually doing what most true weapons do in the game. So her true weapon is Scissors Blade, of course, and this thing for 20 seconds increases your own fire damage by 30%, and then when equipped by her, you increase your own damage by 20% and art gauge by 2 per second. Do not stack with passes of the same name. Now real quick, I want to see, there's no other confirmation, I want to see if maybe you could enhance the true weapons even further to make them better, because at raw value for what their skills are, they're not that great, to the point to where you probably wouldn't ever try to use this stuff on them. Like Scissors Blade itself doesn't increase your fire damage by 30%. If you want to know what Scissors Blade does in the game right now, it gives you a 30% arts damage buff, which I would take over the fire damage, even though I think they're both considered the same in like the damage formula. I could be wrong about that. But out of everyone, why do I feel like that Satsuki actually got the best true weapon? This is so weird. This is such a weird collab and such a weird true weapon like thing. It's like, what do we make people summon for again, or what do we make people be hyped for again? Because Kill la Kill's coming back for like the 8th time. We give them true weapons. And to be honest, with how these things are, I would personally like the newer equips, because we'll talk about them in just a second. But in terms of this stuff, yeah, I don't really care too much. But the new equips that are coming out, we have a 5-star defense, which is Ryuko's motorcycle, and then for 10 seconds you increase all allies fire and water resist by 30% and skill CT recovery by 30%, 40-second cooldown, but it's only a 10-second buff. I was gonna say this is actually gonna be pretty good because this is a replacement, or not really a replacement, but if you don't have Iris's bikini, if you don't have that, you could use this, but this is nowhere near as good. I think Iris's Freely Bikini has a longer duration and a shorter cooldown. Next is Scissor Blade Decapitation mode. This thing is a 5-star physical, 10,000% fire damage physical, and then you increase your own damage by 80% and decrease fire resist by 30%. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty good. Next is Starla Student Uniform. It's a 5-star heal. You heal all allies seal 12 seconds, and you heal all allies HP by 200 per second. And then last is Bakuzan Goku and Bakuzan Koru. And this is a 5-star physical, 4,000% water damage physical. When own HP is above 90%, you increase your own arc gauge by 30. For 8 seconds, you increase your own physical damage by 40%. Cooldowns 30 seconds, break 800. To be honest, as long as your HP is above 90%, you get 30 arts, plus you get the damage up, 30-second cooldown. I think that has some potential personally. And then after that, there's nothing else. And then, like I said before, there's a raid coming. So with all this, I mean, I guess it's good, but it's more so just a reason to be excited and be hyped and try to go for Mako and stuff again, because that's really what they're trying to do with the Japanese community. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but the last time Kill la Kill came, I think they said, I may be getting this confused with Godzilla though, they said this would be the last time Kill la Kill came on global because it was really hard to get this collab back, but then JP does it. So yeah, enough of me talking about Kill la Kill. That's pretty much the gist of it. That's what's happened. Now to talk about why I've fallen out of favor with GS a lot over the last few months. Of course, I still do enjoy the game. I still play the game, and I do have fun with it. Do I actively farm the game though and grind for events and stuff like that? I'm gonna be honest with you, no. The only time I actually truly play the game is whenever mines are here, because mines is the only game mode that actually keeps my interest, especially because I could use Batiste, and Batiste is like my favorite unit ever released by GS. But as for GS as a whole, the reason why I've fallen out of favor with this and have started preferring other gacha games is because the lack of progress GS has made in the last few months on global. People are still talking about global's exclusive crossover and all that, and don't realize that our exclusive crossover was Godzilla. Yes, that was the global exclusive, was Godzilla. It wasn't going to be a new crossover. It was just going to be a crossover we have not gotten yet. JP didn't get Godzilla because why would they bring it back for JP? It's a 3-year-old collab. Throw it to global and just kill global. The whole point is that within the last few months, JP and global, I feel like, has just been doing this roundabout thing. They make like some really good updates, but then no progress is actually being made. Like, for example, in a year's time from now, if you was going to ask me what GS is going to do, I'd probably tell you another rerun. And it really feels like that's all we're doing, is that we're going from rerun to something new, back to rerun, and then we finally get something new about a year and a half later. Because what was the last new crossover global got that wasn't Godzilla? It was what? The new versions of Tensura? That's not technically a rerun. That was actually new, but still, you get the point. It was a rerun, but at least they brought some stuff new. I don't mind when they do that. If you bring a rerun back, but you actually add new characters and new events and all that, and actually reset the event shop and do all that type of stuff, I don't mind whenever that happens. But this is why I've fallen out of favor with GS the last few months. It's just that it feels like they're not making any progress. And in terms of playing the game long term, it really just feels like the more and more you play it, at least nowadays, not back then. Nowadays, it feels like it's just to waste your time, just for you to sink time into it and get nothing out of it. Because if you ask me what am I waiting for in Grand Summoners, I'm not talking about units or anything else. You ask me what am I waiting to do in GS? Like, what is the next update that's got me excited? I would be honest with you, there's not one. I still do enjoy making content on the game though. I think that's the only thing that's kept me playing all these years, is making content is extremely fun and editing is extremely fun. But playing the game has not been too fun these last few months. And I've leaned further and further away from it to almost where now I am very distant with the game to an extent. I still talk about it pretty much all the time, but in terms of people being like, oh, OP, did you farm the new event? Or, oh, dude, have you farmed freaking Naofumi and all that? It's like, dude, I haven't even touched global. The only thing I did was literally log on to get my compendium rewards, and I got off the game instantly. I just wanted to add that in there just because this update reminded me of it again. like how I'm just very distant with the game. So yeah. But guys, thank you all again for coming out. It's been your bro P. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more. If you guys haven't checked out the other videos on the channel yet, highly recommend you check it out, especially the collaboration video. That video was a ton of fun to make. It was an amazing vid. Highly recommend it to everybody. But guys, thank you all again for coming out. It's been your bro P. And last but not least, don't forget to drink water. Oh shit.